so we're going to look at matrices. What matrices are squares or rectangles made up of rows and columns of different numbers. The rows go across and the columns go down. So if we look at A and B, they're both 2 by 2 matrices. C would be a 1 by 2 as it just has the one row but 2 columns. D has 2 rows and 1 column, so it's 2 by 1, and E is a 3 by 3. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to add and subtract very quickly, and then I'm going to go into multiplication, which is, it gets a little bit more complex than addition. So very quickly I'm just going to show you how we would add A and B. So A plus B very simple. We would just take our first number here and add it to this number here. So all the ones in the same place, we just add them together. That gives us 8. Subtracting, it would be 7 minus 1. And then we add this one with this one, this one, this one. And addition and subtraction is as simple as that. Multiplication, as I said, gets a little bit more complex. We can't just take 7 and multiply it by 1, for example. Just going to show you now how we would do this. So if I look at A multiplied by B, this one and this one, so A multiplied by B. What we would have to do here is we would have to take our column 1 from B, and imagine it's a bus driving along the road, and we would put it above A. So move our 1 and 2. What we would then do is multiply both numbers here by this one and both numbers here by this one. So to get our first number, we would use the 7 and the 9. We do this by multiplying the 7 by the 1. So 7 multiplied by 1, and then we add the 9 multiplied by 2. And that gives us our first number of our answer. We do the same again for the bottom number, so we would do 3 multiplied by the 1, and then we would add the 12 multiplied by the 2. For our next one, we would change this to our second column. So we would take the 3 and the 8, and again imagine that a bus move to here, so then we would put 3 and 8, so that's our second column. So then over here we would have 7 multiplied by 3 plus 9 multiplied by 8, and then 3 multiplied by 3 plus 12 multiplied by the 8. And this gives us our matrix answer. So then all we have to do is figure out the answer from each. So we would do that by doing our 7 multiplied by the 1 gives us 7, 9 multiplied by 2 gives us 18, and then we just add those together to give us our answer. So our first number here, 7 plus 18 would give us 25. And we just do the same again for all of these ones. So then this is our answer from this multiplication. And that is all there is to multiplication of matrices. When we do look at multiplying, we need to remember that we can only multiply if we have more than one row. So for example, we couldn't multiply A by C because we don't have the 2 rows to move over. We could, however, multiply A by D because we have those 2 rows to move over. We only need 1 column, but we need 2 rows. And yeah, that is as simple as that for multiplication. What I'm going to move on to now is I'm going to show you how to find the determinant of a number. So firstly, I'm going to show you how to find the determinant of a 2 by 2. And the way that we do that is simply by multiplying the 7 and the 12 together, and then the 3 and the 9, and then we just subtract those numbers from one another. So we would have 7 multiplied by 12 minus 3 multiplied by 9. So that would be 84 minus 27. So our determinant of A would be 57. And it's as simple as that for 2 by 2s. 3 by 3s get a little bit more complex, so I'm going to find the determinant of E. And the way that we do that is by turning E into 3 2 by 2s and then working it out the same as we do for the 2 by 2. The way that we divide this into 3 2 by 2s is by taking each number from the top row and then we cover up the row and column that that number sits on, and then we take the 4 remaining numbers. So if we get this 3, which would move over to here, so we don't completely lose the number, and then if we cover up this column here and this row, it leaves us with 10, 4, 3 and 1. And then again for 2, we would have 2 multiplied, so then we cover up this middle column and the top row, so that leaves us with 8, 4, 6 and 1. And then again for the 5, we would cover up that top row and this end column. So we're then left with 8, 10, 6 and 3. What we then have to do, as I said, is work out the same as we worked out the 2 by 2 determinants. So if we take the 10 and the 1 minus the 3 and 4. So that then gives us 10 minus 12 gives us minus 2. What we then need to do is we need to take this number here and we simply multiply our minus 2 by this. So So that gives us minus 6. What we also have to remember with 3 by 3 determinants and anything more than a 2 by 2 is the plus minus plus rule, which basically means that this would be a plus, this would be a minus, this would be a plus. So this 2 would become a minus 2. So then when we work out our next one down, we would then do minus 2 times minus 16, which gives us a positive 32. This would be a plus, so 3 is a plus, 2 is a minus, and 5 is a plus. So then we would have 8 times by the 3 minus 6. So then we multiply that by the 5. And then what we do here to get our determinant of E is we just add them all together. So minus 6 plus 32 minus 180. So our determinant of E equals minus 154.